Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
And welcome back to another episode of Touch Me Tuesdays on the Veritas Road. Carson back in the studio with John on a just obnoxious Tuesday, and I'm ready to be obnoxious myself. So we'll get things rolling here in just a second. Guys, if you like the show, you want more of the show, follow us on all the social medias. We're on all the social medias. Check us out on the Twitters. We're at the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter. We're at the Veritas Road. Literally everywhere else. Our old Twitter account got butt by Elon Musk and his minions. So we're at the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter because the Veritas Road, I guess, is deleted, doesn't exist anymore.
It exists. It just can't do anything.
Okay. So can we even delete that account?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember which one of us made it, and
Yeah, I think it was me. I'll go back and see if I can delete it.
leave it up.
No. I'm going to go back and see if I can delete it.
One day, the AI overlords might decide that this account could be reinstated.
Yeah, I
and
sincerely
it
doubt
might
that.
show it back up.
So our old Twitter account got butt. So the new one is the Veritas Road Pod. So go follow that. Follow us on the YouTubes, the Rumbles, the Instagrams, all the places people go to rot their brains. Go follow us on all of those. And if you like the show and you want to support the show, the best way to do that is on Patreon. I believe it's all the Patreon URL /Veritas Road. You can find us there. We have a whole host of tiers for you to choose from. So go check that out. Get in where you fit in, just like a man with a tiny penis. Go check that out. If you like the show, you want to support the show, and be sure to share the show with your friends, your coworkers, your niece, don't share it with your niece or nephew, but maybe people you don't want to talk to anymore. Maybe share it with them because they probably won't talk to you anymore. So share the show with those people. So all that being said, guys, it's been a sad week. R.I.P. Chuck Norris. Okay? Chuck Norris, I believe, passed away. I was going to try to make up a day. I have no idea what day he died. Chuck Norris died. What a sad commentary on the state of I was looking for, I thought there are all these talks of like the apocalypse, the aliens are coming back, we're fighting a war with Iran, where, Trump's raising the Antichrist, the beast system's going to, I was hoping Chuck Norris was going to be the final bastion fighting all of the globalists. Okay? I was hoping that was what was going to happen, but I guess it's not now because he's allegedly. I'm still waiting for that to come out as a joke. I'm still waiting for people to be like, "Nah, just kidding. Chuck Norris killed the Grim Reaper," some shit like that. But I guess he's gone. No more Chuck Norris jokes, and that's sad. That's a sad day in America, people. Chuck Norris has passed on. This might be the first. That might be the first sign of the apocalypse. Honestly, that might be the first sign of the apocalypse. I'm reasonably sure it could be. I think he was the last thing protecting America. Like, forget Trump, forget the military. It was Chuck Norris, and that's all I have to say about that. So, moving into the that happened this week, the things that let's talk about fear for a minute. Okay, so for anybody who's been in the news lately, there's just been a lot of propaganda. Damn it! I started one after this. I printed this off.
Yeah, you missed an
So what do I have to? Okay, let's start over, folks. Let's start over.
Well, to caveat, this might induce fear
This
depending
could-
on
this
who
could.
you are.
Yeah,
depending
if
on who
you're
you are.
afraid of.
It's a good lead-in.
I guess it could be. It could be. But anyway, that was an unfortunate beginning.
okay.
So when you think of a murderer, okay, most people think about Jack the Ripper. Some people think about the Unabomber. Some people think about Arabs with box cutters on planes. Some people think about Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay? I would be willing to bet nobody thinks of a quadruple amputee in a wheelchair. I would be willing to bet nobody thinks about a quadruple amputee who plays professional cornhole as potentially the next serial killer. All right? We're talking about Jack the Limper.
Ooh, look at that.
We're talking about the unibody bomber.
It's a stretch.
You, John.
The first one was good.
So, it appears that there's a quadruple amputee who plays professional cornhole. If there's anything that tells you that the southern sport of cornhole is for no one but and drunks, this should. If a quadruple amputee can be a professional, I don't think it counts as a sport. All right? Like, this guy couldn't go play professional football. Okay? He probably couldn't go play baseball, I would imagine. He couldn't go, like, I feel like if you can be an amputee and do it, we should not be played on ESPN. I feel like that is a good place to start when it comes to what we consider an actual physical sport. And you know, good on him for having like a limb and a half in total. I think that's what he has.
There's not even a limit.
Like, I'm saying he's got enough nubs to make up the
Makes up
totality
one.
of like a limb and maybe a little bit, because his arms are cut off past the elbows.
Yeah.
And it looks like his legs are cut off right at the knee. So like I give him a total of like 1.38 limbs if I had to give him a score for limbs. For 4 is obviously a perfect score. This is one of those tests where over, you know, you could have too high of a score is bad.
Right.
There's a perfect middle.
Yeah.
But this son of a bitch allegedly murdered somebody. He allegedly, I think, shot somebody in his car. And I just don't understand, how a quadruple amputee manages to hold a gun, much less fire one.
I've seen a video of him fire. I think he has like
Have you?
Like, yeah, it was one circulating around. And he has like some type of maybe like attachment on his arm.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
So it's a whole thing for him to get the gun on.
It's a whole thing.
I don't understand how a quadruple amputee manages to fire a firearm. The other thing I don't understand is how humiliating it must be to like have to like maybe this guy has a wife left behind, which is very sad, or you know has family left behind, and they got to be like, you know, my son, he's the one that got killed with a guy with no arms. Like, that's got to be a tough thing to have to admit to people. Can you imagine if this guy didn't die? He would have killed himself having to admit that he got murdered by a quadruple amputee. Like, is this story real? Is this AI? Are they just trolling us?
I don't know. From what I've seen, it's real. I want to know, like, how the fuck did this dude drive off? Like,
yeah.
What the hell?
Like,
dude?
who drives the getaway car? Is he driving the getaway car?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand. Can we just go back down to the video? I want to see this guy allegedly playing cornhole again, which I think is just, look at that. It's a full body exercise for him. He's got to completely stretch out his arms. He literally jumps and falls off the mat.
Oh, this is the video of him firing the gun.
That's amazing. Oh, we have a video of him firing a gun?
Yeah, it's right here.
John, make that big. Let's see this bad boy. Oh my gosh, he's actually like holding. He's having a very difficult time managing it.
He
So
doesn't even like.
what is about? Oh, he has like a little nub.
Yeah, he does have a little nub.
He's got a little
I
nub.
thought he had a little attachment on there.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive.
Wow. All right.
Barely pulling that trigger.
He looks. This is what's confusing about him. is he looks like he should be a midget, but he's not. And I know there are people out there who are scared of midgets, but I find that scarier than a midget.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Like, at least you can look at a midget and be like, oh, it's a midget. You look at this guy and you're like, oh, this is a midget. And then he gets closer and it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You're just missing half of your body.
Yeah.
That's unsettling. That's unsettling.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that are unsettling, let's talk about fear for a little bit.
But let me stop you there.
Every time.
So, I'm sorry, but you think of the Matrix. You think of a simulation. I'm not big on like, hey, we live in a simulation. This leads some credence. But if you think of like what broke Neo out of the Matrix is he saw the two cats, right? What do you think happened to the two people in this back seat if that broke like it's like that on steroids, right?
What the hell are you talking about?
You see your quadriplegic dude shoot somebody. Like there were two people in the back seat of this car.
Yeah.
And saw a quadriplegic dude shoot the passenger. You got to think that broke him out of something like, you know, like that's freaking crazy. I mean, like, could you imagine being the person to witness that? Like, whatever your perception of reality is has to be gone. It has to be like Neo in the Matrix, just on steroids.
I don't know, man. They probably went to cornhole tournaments with this guy. I don't know how I would feel about that. Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting thought. I would assume they knew him and thus were aware of his ability to do normal person things.
Even still.
But that would be interesting. All right. That is wild. Anyway, speaking of fear, son of a bitch. Speaking of fear, I don't know how much people have noticed, but like it seems like they're trying to drum up a lot more just general fear in the media these days. And I'm not just talking about everything that's going on allegedly with Iran, however you're supposed to say their name. You think we would have figured that out. We've been bombing them for like 20 years. People still don't know how to say Iran, all these out there trying to pronounce Qatar like they're from Qatar. I went to Qatar. F you. It's Qatar. Just say it like a normal person. I digress. Anyway, there's a lot of fear-based propaganda, it seems, out there, not just related to like what's going on with Iran, but all of the things, son of a
What the hell? Why did that play?
that was alarming. I think I pissed myself a little bit.
Thankfully, no one else heard that. But like, why? Wasn't even on that tab.
I don't know. Where was I?
Iran alarming.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of fear-based but a lot of that fear-based commentary I think is coming from places outside of like, oh, maybe they'll bomb us. Oh, man, and sure, I guess that's like allegedly a possibility, but everybody always talks about like nuclear warfare, which I'm starting to think that's fake. But even past that, people are starting to hearken back to the days of 2020 and the idea of, you know, lockdowns, emergency powers, fucking limiting travel. And even past that, there's been a lot of other fear-based propaganda, and maybe they're real events that the Mockingbird media is capitalizing on, but a lot of fear-based propaganda around, it seems like, limiting people from just like traveling, from going from place to place, from getting out of their damn house and doing what they want. And I'm not going to pretend to completely understand the purpose behind limiting travel to such a degree. I mean, I get like the low-hanging fruit bit of it, right? Like the more you limit people, the less they're gonna, you know, gather, move around, the more docile they're gonna, like all of that I understand. But I would imagine, I would hope that the people running this thing are smart enough to have an agenda past that. Like I would hope that they're just not, you know, that simple, not quite that. But this guy kind of breaks down. Shout out to Nefhunter for sending us this video, by the way. This guy kind of talks about, and we'll go ahead and cue the video, John. I'm not even gonna, let's listen to this.
Lockdown coming, and this time it's not like the one we had in 2020.
British.
This time it's different, and honestly, I think it's a lot worse because this time, you know, no one's going to stand there and tell you to stay inside. No one's going to say don't leave your house. But, you know, the fuel prices are going up, the electric's going to go up, the food is going to go up. And all of a sudden, you're not going to be able to go out as much. You're not going to be able to drive as much. You know, you're not living how you used to. Not because you've been told to, but because life is literally now unaffordable, right? That is going to be the difference. But it is going to happen. This lockdown is coming, and it's going to be very quiet, right? It's going to creep in, and before you even clock it, your whole lifestyle is going to be changed. And we've already seen this happening, haven't we, right now? Like, if you just go and look at the likes of, let's say, you know, Japan, they're already holding down a lot of the fuel right now. You've got South Korea that are rationing fuel, Bangladesh, Philippines, all of them are rationing. Australia, their government is telling people to avoid non-essential journeys right now. This is exactly what they said in COVID, right? Avoid non-essential travel, work from home, only go out for essential purposes. You know, in 2020, they called it health measure, but now, in 2026, they're gonna call it sort of like energy measures. Ultimately, you know, they won't need to lock you down this time because you'll probably be doing it yourself and you won't even realize. But obviously, as always, beautiful people, this was...
So, a few things to kind of unpack here. And I just want to start out by saying, like, I think this is, like, a decent human being. Video makes sense. I think, you know, the way he's kind of breaking all that down makes perfect sense. And so, any things I say are not directed towards him, because I like that. I like what he's putting out there. Okay, first thing, though. Clock it? Really? What are you, a fucking 16-year-old girl? All right? Use better language, okay? Clock it, per, yeah, 6-7. That. Anyway, aside from that, one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show is the whole idea of, like, not giving your energy and attention to, you know, whatever nonsense bullshit's in the news. And that's, you know, good on that. But one of the things I think people need to be aware of is the fact that, A, you are going to be aware of these things, and that's okay. You're gonna pay attention to these things, and that's okay. But where it becomes problematic is when it starts to, A, take over much of your attention, like take up way too much of your focus and your energy worrying about what the hell is going on with Iran and what the fuck's going to go on with, you know, gas prices and what have you. But B, I think where stuff like this gets people, and I think to his point and to his credit, where Corona got people, where something like, you know, social pressure not to move around is going to get people is in the way people will change their behaviors, their attitudes, and their thought patterns based on external elements that aren't necessarily even threatening, but that are uncomfortable. And two things to mention there, like, A, on a spiritual level, that very likely lends a lot of energy to whatever bad spiritual entities are working for the bad guys. It probably lends a lot of energy to whatever bad spiritual entities are occupying, you know, that evil presence that's kind of inhabiting that space. So that's point number one. And so focusing too much on that negative is not going to do anything good on, like, a metaphysical level. But B, what that ends up doing is essentially just pushing people who would otherwise just go out and live their normal lives in the wrong direction, and allowing entities like your government, like the deep state, like the fucking Illuminati, call them what you want, to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Like, it's this whole idea of your, you know, being allowing yourself to be made uncomfortable, to be made concerned is 99% of the battle. The behavior is just the effect that follows. And I think that's, I guess, the problem that a lot of us don't even realize. It's the thing that a lot of us don't realize it's happening when it's happening. It's not until it's too late that you look back and notice, son of a bitch, son of a whore, I've been panicking for 6 months and I had no clue. Like a lot of people who didn't comply with a lot of the bullshit going on in Corona were still in a panic state. And it's hard not to exist in a panic state during those times. It is. It's super difficult. But finding peace and just behaving like a normal person eliminates so much of the sting of things like that. And thankfully, like for us here in Tennessee, we tend to be inoculated against a lot of that just because it is a more rural area. People are less likely to give in to the psyops. People are less glued to their TVs and their phones. But I can tell you it's getting worse. Like I think part of the push to move people from these metropolitan areas like New York, California, Chicago, Seattle into more rural areas is to essentially like affect those areas with the behaviors and the mind virus that come along with these people's lifestyle and focus on their phones and on like the social structures that come along with these people. Part of, I think, the goal behind moving them around and kind of pushing them into these like rural, quaint areas that have stayed, like, I guess, relatively normal, relatively secluded from all the for decades, is to essentially infect those places with the same that caused those places to break down and to turn into like this weird conglomeration of socialist yet fascist nightmares, like almost overnight when push finally came to shove. Like you don't have to look back very far. We have all the going that went on not too long ago. We have all the Black Lives Matter that went on, all the feminist marches, all of these things. It was not hard to push people that direction. Okay? Drop a couple of bricks off and say, get after it. And these sons of bitches turns into this weird post-apocalyptic wasteland, and it's all you need to usher in some kind of weird, creepy police state. We're already doing it. We're already doing it in places like Memphis. We're already doing it in places like San Diego and San Francisco. It's already happening, and it starts with all of this fear. All right? And to that end, okay, it doesn't just stop with all the Iran war discussion, okay? So move on to the next link, John. It goes even further than that. We're seeing it, a lot of this in the travel realm at this point. Like we had all the shit that went on with, what was it, Delta Airlines not too long ago, I believe. I think there was like a Spirit airline kerfuffle. There was the Malaysian airline that happened a hot minute ago, and now allegedly 2 more pilots were killed in who's surprised that it was Air Canada where these guys got murdered? Okay, I get it. It sucks. Sad that these guys lost their lives, but why are you flying Air Canada? That's a bad idea already, eh? Like, what are you? These guys are probably too busy guzzling maple syrup and off to a Tim Hortons donut to fly the damn plane. But what we're seeing is this weird focus on planes crashing. Either that or planes are crashing more often now than they ever have. I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. I don't think I remember a single plane crash except, the big one. There was the big one where they hit 2 towers. But other than that, I don't remember hearing of a single plane crash for like 2 decades. And now they're happening every other month. It seems a little strange to me that we could go that long without a massively publicized air travel incident, and now they're just happening once or twice a month. It seems a little odd. It seems kind of on purpose. I would imagine like stuff like this happens on occasion, and obviously if you're in the sky, those are going to be a lot more catastrophic than if you're rolling around on 4 wheels, okay? And so it is likely, just in general, if an airplane accident happens, they're going to be more fatal than if you have a car wreck. Just reason, right? But it's the choice to either publicize them or not that I think makes all the difference here. And these have obviously been very public over the last couple of years, all seemingly in a push to limit people's scope of movement, people's desire to travel. A lot of people who were never afraid of flying are scared to get on a plane now. What the hell is that about? We have a lot of air traffic controllers who aren't going to work because the fucking government shut down, which are... By the by, is there another government shutdown going on right now?
It's only partial. I don't even know what that means. It's
What
only
does that
partial.
even mean?
Some of it's open, some of it's closed.
So do I pay partial income taxes for the next couple of weeks?
No.
Like what the f- does and how are we fighting a war while the government's shut down?
That's the part that's not shut down.
It's the part that's still open. The open sign's still on for the military.
if that doesn't even close during the full shutdown, you know well it's not closed during the partial one.
It's such a dumb. Whoever decided to brand that as a government shutdown is an asshole. That whoever that person is. But yeah, all these fucking air traffic controllers who are not coming to work. It all seems to be in an effort to get people to travel less, and we can pontificate on the end games of that. We can talk about not wanting you to go gather with all the like-minded people. We can talk about wanting to limit your ability to experience new things, experience new places. We can talk about by limiting the physical space you're able to travel in, limiting your intellectual capacity to think and expand past the boundaries of your limited understanding. We can talk about a lot of different but that doesn't change what's happening and the fact that it's weird and uncomfortable. Also on the fear train is this lovely Facebook video. And shout out to Nefhunter for sending us this one. So, along with all the worry about the Iran war, lockdowns, all the other there's this weird feeling, and maybe it's just me, but and maybe it's just me exposing myself to too much media, because we do this show every week. We typically do another stream every week, and so I get exposed to a lot of shit that I didn't used to get exposed to. I used to essentially just live in a giant black hole and not worry about anything, but now looking into a lot of this, I get exposed to a lot more media and social media stuff than I ever used to. But it feels like there's this increased sense of maybe it's the sons of at the doomsday clock moving us to 12 seconds to midnight or whatever. Maybe I'm just concerned about that. But it feels like there's this weird sense of impending doom, kind of, or maybe it's just the sense that some kind of change is coming that appears to have crept in, not just on a personal level, but even for the media, even for people in the alternative media, if you still want to call it that. It seems like there's this feeling that something different, uncomfortable, or strange is on the horizon. And there's the Epstein stuff that came out. The big thing, I think, is all the disclosure stuff, and the other big one is AI and where that's headed and what the absolute titty is going on with it. And it makes you wonder, is RoboCop just around the corner? I don't know. But this guy makes me wonder if it is.
Oh, just announced that we've achieved AGI.
Just sit in that.
This was posted at 5:28 p.m. and right now, as I'm making this video, it is 6:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 23rd, 2026. And now we have AGI. And for those of you who are not sure what that is, it's artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence means that AI can now do anything that a human can do at about the same level. So with AGI, it means that AI is going to be able to learn new skills from scratch. It will be able to problem solve. It will be able to reason. And so now that we have artificial general intelligence, the next step is artificial superintelligence. And so the interesting thing about where we're at right now today, March 23rd, is that this AI doesn't currently have a body. And so what they're doing, what AI is doing is it's hiring human beings to go out and perform tasks that they can't do because AI doesn't have a body. But what's interesting is that the bodies that they need are currently being produced. In this article from October 23rd of 2025, Elon Musk was quoted saying, "I don't feel comfortable building that robot army unless I have a strong influence." And so when we see pictures like this is what's going on over in China. They have this kind of stuff. I mean, and I'm sure we have stuff over here in America as well. But I think it's fascinating to see where we're going. We're in 2026 right now. We're talking about this kind of stuff, and this seems so science fiction that it's not even funny. But yet, here we are. And so my question that I am just pondering in my own mind is, now that we have artificial general intelligence, how long until we have artificial super intelligence?
Okay.
And
How long till we have artificial super intelligence? I feel like that's already here. But how weird is it how far we appear to have jumped off the deep end into sci-fi? When did the iPhone come out? Like 2007, 2005, somewhere in there? Before that, carrying around a computer in your hand was Star Trek. And now we've got RoboCop robots running around on the streets. We have self-driving cabs in big cities, food robots running around. We've got these Chinese police dogs attacking people over in Asia with the Asians. Okay? You want to talk about fear? This is wildly uncomfortable. This whole Elon Musk robot thing that he's allegedly producing, all these Tesla robots, whatever the hell those things are supposed to be, and you can't tell me we haven't had like this for a hot minute, right? But it seems like, and the greater point this guy is making is, it seems like either the people who are running this robot are working to at least make it seem like this I don't know, the AI entity, call it what you will, is starting to, use people and build or they've legitimately produced an entity that is starting to, it's straight out of Person of Interest, which I haven't even seen, but I keep hearing people talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, that's how Samaritan operated. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's wild. It's straight out of Westworld.
Dude, Samaritan created people too. That's the crazy. It like created people. It's freaking wild.
Speaking of that, there's even discussion of, and so it makes you wonder, like, who are all these people working for? What the f is going on with all these robots? And as far as a lot of these like things we're seeing on the TV or on the news or on your phone when you're scrolling through TikTok, like how many of those are real? How much of it's fake? And how much of it is just propaganda to simply how much of it is just simply a psyop? How much of it is just simply nothing more than an addictive, horrifically, excuse me. Wow, that shocked me. How much of it is nothing more than just like a super addicting psyop? Because best I can tell, that's like 99% of what comes through my little black scrying box on the weekly. Okay? Is that appears to have no purpose other than to push me one direction or another. And most of it appears to be centered on pushing people farther into whatever ideologic camps they already have. And then just like scaring them a little bit by showing the occasional like violent thing, or maybe driving them into some kind of weird, gross sexual frenzy by showing, a nice ass every night, which I don't mind that part. The part's kind of not, but like I just don't see how it's anything other than a really well crafted psyop. And now we have, I don't know how many folks, I don't know if you've heard about this yet, John, or not, but like allegedly, like there's this AI video of Netanyahu going around where he was like supposedly speaking at a cafe, but nobody's like, all the writing was fake, and he's like giving some sort of like, and nobody saw him for like a week.
Oh yeah, it's like proof of life video.
Yeah. And like it was allegedly like, what the hell are they doing with all these? I feel like an old person. But what are they doing with all these AI computers? What are they doing? I don't know, but it's wildly uncomfortable. And now, last thing I'm going to talk about on the fear front. We're in this war with Iran, where everybody, I don't know what a strait is, to be honest with you, and I didn't know there was one of Hormuz, okay? I don't know where that is, but everybody knows what it is and where it is now. All these guys who pretended to be friends with a cop are running around talking about the strategic interests of the Strait of Hormuz, okay? That, problem number one. Like, who gives a shit? You don't know. You're telling me you know where that is? I'm calling your bluff. Nobody gives a about the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody knows where it is or what it is. I'm just saying it now. But everybody knows what it is and where it is now because it's been the most popular place on. People are going to be vacationing there in 3 to 5 years. Mark my words. The two most popular, forget Vail, forget Boulder, or wherever the hell people go, it's going to be Gaza and the Strait of Hormuz. That's where all the rich people are going to go. The new Gaza Riviera and the Strait of Hormuz hotel. And it's going to be glorious. All right? Trump International is going to take those over, and they're going to be the vacation destinations of the 2030s. Mark my words. But anyway, Trump came out and said, Iran gave us this very elusive gift. But what creeps me out is he won't say what it is. Let's listen.
They're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people. Is that nuclear related? No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
Okay. So, I don't know how many people, this is kind of a weird headspace, but we're going to go there, guys, because if you don't go to the weird places, what are you doing? Did you ever hear your parents giggling in the middle of the night? And then you get up the next day and you ask them what the fuck was going on at 11 o'clock at night, hearing the giggling from their room. And instead of saying they were boning all night, your dad was like, well, your mom gave me a very good gift last night. It was very good, very big. It was a very big gift. I liked it a lot. It was, no, it wasn't electronic related. It was happiness related. It was a very happy gift. It was very good. It was very good, very big. I liked it a lot. It got very messy. We had to take a lot of towels into the room. There were a lot of towels. A lot of very, very good towels. That is exactly what this reminds. Did Trump get off by the president of Iran? Like, did he? What kind of gift did he get? Did we get like 1 million barrels of lube? Like, it's just. Oh, I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand at all. We just bought Venezuela and allegedly have all of their oil. For one, explain why gas prices are so high if we just did whatever we did to Venezuela to allegedly get their oil. I assume that's what we're there for. And now we're talking about like Iran giving us a gift. What is the purpose behind this? Is this just to get all the baby boomers horny again? What's the point of even coming out and talking about that? It just doesn't make any rational sense other than to just keep the Iran narrative going and going and going and going and going, and weird people debating about what counts as boots on the ground and all of the other that's gone along with that. Another fake nonsense. More like it just seems completely functionally But the one thing I like about it is how it reminds me of my childhood, and that's nice. You know? That's nice. It reminds me of my parents lying about and those are nostalgic memories for me. Those are very nostalgic memories for me, and hopefully for you too, folks. Hopefully for you too. So, John, anything on fear and your parents lying to you about sex before we move on?
I mean, not a ton. I think you hit, the main point on the head of, fear is ultimately it's consent, is like you're consenting to give something power over you. And when you do that, it's like you give up your agency in a way. You give up your agency to really be independent or have any control over your life, because you're now letting external forces dictate your mood, dictate your behavior, and dictate like the joy that you just get out of life. And that's not cool, so especially when you're dealing with all this crap that's like halfway around the world, it's like, you got to drop that shit. Especially because somebody mentioned in the chat, it's like, we have no clue if it's fucking real anyway. It's probably just existing,
It's a good point.
in your phone and on your PC. And all those freaking videos are probably AI of all of the bombs being dropped. It's like I've seen a bomb dropped on some piece of desert 1,000 times.
Yeah, they might be AI. That's fair.
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck knows? So it's like, you can't let this kind of crap give like any type of power over you. It's why like the political space, I think, has just become so dead, and why that's a space for like intellectuals is kind of dead, because it's like, dude, like it's evident to everybody that this is not real, and you just can't give it any like serious attention anymore. And then like, that's not to say, to not like pay attention to the fact to kind of see how things are moving, because it's like, I think you can kind of maybe get a little bit of an indication of what's to come if you pay attention kind of from afar. But like, to give it any type of serious influence over you or serious control over you is just misguided.
Well, and to your point about the AI, part of it does seem, and we've talked about this, so I don't want to belabor this point, but it does seem 1984-ish, like endless wars. Best way to control people and like to ration it is just to pretend like there's a shortage. Pretend like there's a fucking shortage, and tell people to be grateful because there's a shortage, and it's good because we're America, and you should be grateful. It's very strange.
Yeah, and I think
Very
we'll get
strange.
into a little bit more of like the psychological effect of all of this here in a second, of like what they're actually doing to people's minds with all of this crap. So just kind of keep in mind, like, this is also like, it's a war on your mind. It's a war on like, it's psychological warfare, probably first and foremost,
Yes. So, speaking of wars, if there's a war, folks, you need to be prepared. And I think we can all agree no state is more prepared for war than Texas, because everything's bigger in Texas. And you know what they're prepared for in Texas? A zombie apocalypse. Let's watch. Oh, son of a... Oh, that's terrible.
I'm going to leave that muted because I don't know.
Just turn it up just a little bit. Just a little baby bit. That's good enough.
This isn't copyrighted.
We'll find out.
We will.
Not like we're going to make any money off this video anyway. It'll be okay.
Alright, I'm more worried about the algorithm.
There is literally,
This has got to be a joke.
in the capital of a city in Texas, there's a pamphlet about a zombie attack. Now, folks, I would not put this past Texas. All right, they love guns and dead things. So that I would not put this past the state of Texas. They all seem to be low key. All right, but I did take the liberty of looking around and reading a little bit of that pamphlet, and it's just like, that's essentially just like a circulatory pamphlet to try to get people prepared for regular life. But this video's going around, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is a sign of like there could be a zombie apocalypse." Some guy wrote this to try to make it fun for people to read about like being prepared for a tornado. Some cuck in his basement wrote this, was like, you know what'll get the kids interested and trying to be prepared? You know what'll get families that just don't care about being prepared for storms? If we make it into a zombie attack. Let's make it a zombie attack, and people will be... That is all this is, but that is going to be flying all over the internet with videos about like the parasite that makes crickets into zombies or whatever. That's going to be flying all over the internet with that, making people think there's going to be a zombie apocalypse next week. And I'm excited for that. It'll let me know which people are, and yeah, that's it really. That'll let me know which people are. So, moving on from Texas to so. Rape's been a popular discussion over the past decade or so, and nobody's better at rape than Bill Cosby. I think we can all agree that if you were going to have like a Hall of Fame of rapes, we have like Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Epstein. There are a lot of Jeffreys in the business. I'm just now realizing how popular. If you have an uncle named Jeffrey, guys, don't hang out with him. We're learning something here on the Veritas Road. Science. 1 + 1 = 2. Don't hang out with people named Jeffrey. They like to rape you. Anyway, Bill Cosby. He is one of the all-time great. All right? And so if there was going to be a Hall of Fame, he would be in it. Now, I do wonder like how true a lot of the allegations around him are. Being in Hollywood, I'm sure he did some good old-fashioned. I feel like they all do. Okay, but what I find interesting about this is this woman came out. John, see if you can find the year. I believe it was in the 70s or 80s. This woman was allegedly sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby. 1972. All right, so this woman claims to have been sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby in 1972. And then I think the final ruling was pretty recent. I think it was in 2026, maybe. Let's just assume it was. In 2026, they finally ruled that she should get, where are the totals here? Let's see. I cannot read that with the highlighted.
$59.25 million
in total, but it was $1.75 million for future damages, $17.5 million in past damages, and then there was a second phase of the trial where they awarded her an additional $40 million in punitive damages. So, a couple of things. A, and I'm not trying to be a dick, you're telling me you waited 40 years, 50 years to come out about getting raped? You're telling me you waited that long? You waited through the whole Me Too era and then decided to file charges about. That seems a little sketchy. But the more interesting thing that I wanted to talk about is you can literally put a price on your virginity. We literally have a price on you. We know what it costs. We know what costs now. You can put a cost to. This is one of the areas, one of the weird areas in like legal America that just I find so. This is what costs. It will cost you roughly $59.5 million. And I don't know if that's a bargain. I don't know if he's getting over the. I don't know if he should have had a better for him. I feel like that's a pretty good deal for. I've never participated in. I've never been the IST or the E, but I feel like that's a decent deal for. But I don't know. I'm new to the game, but we can literally put a cost. The corporate. What's the term I'm looking for? The legal system. What legal system do we have, John? What is it? Damn it. The commercial legal system can actually put a monetary value to a lady's hymen. And if that doesn't make you a little bit uncomfortable, there's something wrong with you. We're literally telling you how much your vagina is worth. This lady, I think she should feel pretty good, actually. $59 million for a is pretty. I'd feel good about myself. If somebody offered to pay me that much for my genitals, I'd feel pretty good. But can we just all agree that it's a little weird to put a cost to put a cost to and how gross it is that this lady came out and accused a guy who's been in prison for the last who knows how long of her, but it just makes me a little uncomfortable. This is what a rape costs. John, you thinking about buying a rape next year?
No, I don't have any thoughts on any of that.
I just wanted to see, you might be interested now. It's clearly relatively affordable.
Goodness, dude.
So if you wanna purchase a rape, $59.5 million is the going rate. So moving on from Bill Cosby's we'll talk about White House statues. So a couple of weird things going on with the White House, actually. First thing, I don't know if you've heard about this yet, John. They're having a UFC at the White House.
Yeah.
You heard about this?
Yeah, it's for the
Like the 250th
Yeah.
UFC at the White House? I had no clue.
I don't know what you would call bicentennial and a half, but it's for that.
Oh, is that what it's for?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I feel now. I was just like, they're having a random UFC at the White House. That's strange.
No, that's not right.
That's kind of weird. But are they going to have it at the same time as the Patriot Games? Are we going to
something like that?
have some youths out there racing or doing whatever the hell Trump's paying them to do, and then have a bunch of Europeans and Mexicans fighting each other on the White House lawn?
No.
That sounds glorious. They're also putting up a statue of Columbus that's allegedly been put together from bits of an old statue of Columbus back at the White House. And I just, like, why are we excited about this? Why do we give a shit? Who cares? I understand there was that whole, like, a bunch of libtards are tearing down statues and we're mad about it thing, but hasn't that kind of died down? And what did Christopher Columbus really do? Like, he just, I feel like that's pointless. And that's all I have to say about that. Moving on. Guys, the next thing we have to talk about is likely one of the more important discussions we've ever had here on the Veritas Road. Did I link the wrong thing there, John?
Link this quadriplegic.
I linked the quadriplegic again.
Give me a second.
The quadriplegic is important.
It was not what I was expecting. I saw that dude get freaked me out.
For those of
There we
you
go.
who are older than 8, has Chick-fil-A always been spelled the same way? I could have sworn it was spelled CHIK and then the Phil and then the A. But now people are looking at signs and they spell chick with a CK, with 2 C's and a K. Chick with 2 C's. And is this another Berenstein Bears moment or Bernstein Bears? Is this another Mandela effect? I'm just not sure. I don't know how to feel about my life anymore. It feels like something from the Matrix. It honestly does. This is the most uncomfortable a Mandela thing has ever made me. And maybe it's because they're messing with the Lord's chicken, and I don't love that. But I just don't know what to think about this. John, I know we live in the South. You've eaten some Chick-fil-A. What are your feelings on the Chick-fil-A Mandela controversy?
I don't know. I drove by there the other day, and it did kind of bother me because I was like you. I always kind of just implicitly thought CHIK as well. So I don't know. I will say the Mandela effect's weird, man. And if you look at like the psychology of all that, it's very strange. And I think it's this weird type of like mass gaslighting at like the minimum. Like that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is just gaslight the entire public into like, hey, you thought one thing? Well, it's actually this. And everyone has these memories of like, well, no, I know. Like I know it's this. Like right at the Berenstein, I know it's this. Right. And they're like gaslighting you into like getting you to like doubt what you know. Because I said this a while back when we were talking about like the Charlie Kirk thing. We were talking about like how absurd the story is. And it's like, hey, it's meant to be absurd, you know, because it's like it's a psychological warfare.
Comparing Chick-fil-A to Charlie
Well, no,
Kirk?
I'm getting to my point is like it's meant to be absurd because it is a psychological warfare tactic of gaslighting. Is like they're trying to convince you that you're crazy for seeing reality as it is. It's like now they're trying to convince you that you're crazy for like knowing very mundane things in your everyday life were one thing and telling you that they're not. It's like as you walk around, it's like you cannot like, they're trying to convince you not to like trust your own intuition, trust your own perception of things, and literally like, you know, gaslight people into like doubting themselves and like, you know, doubting their own memories, you know? And it's like, that's a crazy like f***ed up thing to do to people, you know?
I don't know. Using Chick-fil-A to do something like that seems like dirty cool.
I mean,
think
that's a low blow
low
because
down.
they're going for, you know, just wholesome white folk.
That's right.
Like that's a real low blow.
There is no one more white than a man in jean shorts with a polo tucked into those jean shorts, tennis shoes, calf-length white socks, going into Chick-fil-A to order a Chick-fil-A sandwich, a large fry, and a lemonade. There is nothing more Southern Baptist white guy than that. And it just makes me wildly uncomfortable that somebody could be messing with the most sacred of fast food restaurants.
I mean, yeah, they're messing with everything. It's some 1984.
John, fuck off. This is Chick-fil-A. How dare you be trivial about Chick-fil-A? And people, for those people who say that Chick-fil-A is overrated, it's not. Waffle fries and delicious nuggets and arguably the best fast food lemonade. Chick-fil-A's lemonade is on point. If I don't make homemade lemonade, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I'm getting a large lemonade with light ice because if you get too much ice in the lemonade, it waters it down and it's not as pleasantly sour and it doesn't make your jowls hurt a little bit when you drink it. And when you drink lemonade, you want your jowls to hurt. You want your lips to pucker just to care. And if they don't, it's bad lemonade. Chick-fil-A does it right. God bless Chick-fil-A. Anyway, moving on. On my paper, I had Chick-fil-A. Question mark, Mandela, question mark. That was my cue that we were talking about Chick-fil-A, for anybody who was curious. So, the Epstein files have come out, allegedly, and everybody's been talking about them, and along with that came out allegations that, like, oh, Epstein's not dead. Maybe he's still living on the island. There were those aerial photos of Epstein next to a car, and so there are already questions circulating in the mainstream media, even, and on social media, a hell of a lot. Like, what's going on with Epstein? Did he die? Did he kill himself? Kash Patel says he didn't, or he did kill himself, so he must be right. He's got those big eyes and that girlfriend who's obviously a honeypot, so he must be correct about Epstein. He wouldn't lie to us. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, not at all out of nowhere, clearly a plant, came a charming figure by the name of Palm Beach Pete. A friendly young man of Floridian persuasion who just happens to bear a striking resemblance to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. And not only does this man bear a resemblance to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, but after all of this that's been going on with Epstein in the media for the past, 2 decades, people are just now noticing that old Palm Beach Pete here happens to bear a striking resemblance to the godfather of himself. Let's listen.
Hey everybody, this is Palm Beach Pete, and my video went viral because some dude randomly filmed me while I was driving on I-95, unbeknownst to me. And the next thing I know, I'm a viral sensation. I had my phone down for about 4 hours, and didn't know my phone was blowing up with all these comments from that video. So I got a lot of traction. It's pretty crazy. Thanks.
So you're not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
Have you ever, I don't know, you ever been watching your kid, or in my case, your brother's kid, and I don't know, maybe they stole a cookie off of the counter, and you look at them, and they know they're lying, and you know they're lying, and they look up at you, and they're like, "No, I don't have a cookie in my back pocket," and they're very obviously just completely bullshitting you. This is essentially that. This is the exact same thing. This guy is saying with crumbs falling out of his mouth, "I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm Palm Beach Pete." In the most cheesy This is one of those people who sounds like he's doing a caricature of himself when he's talking, which is just the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Like, he sounds like he is doing an impression of himself. I can't imagine this is anything other than whatever sons of bitch ran this Epstein intelligence child operation, just flexing to the masses.
Yeah.
I'm Palm Beach Pete. You're not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm just waiting for him to turn into like one of those like carnival things that just repeats the same phrase over and over again. It's completely. If anybody was wondering if Epstein's still around, this has got to be him. Like, how would this guy have stayed quiet and under the radar for 2 decades with Epstein completely allegedly out in the open? And nobody noticed that this guy looked exactly like the king himself, you know? Nobody noticed that?
He allegedly, like, partied with Epstein. Like, I've seen a video where he talked about, like, he allegedly, like, met him at one of his parties. It's like, what?
He's like, I met him a time or two. He was kind of weird. Like, really? Really? Is that so? He was kind of weird. Gosh. It's just full on. Who buys this shit?
Yeah. He's probably, like, from the same batch of clones, just like the Biden clone that, like, wandered off into the jungle. It's like, that might be where he came from.
Maybe he's like the weird clone, you know, the one that's a little slow but fun, so you keep him around.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Yeah, this is just the dumbest story I've ever seen. So stupid, but it's fun. It's silly. Epstein. So, been a lot of talk, a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of talk about Benjamin Netanyahu lately, and how a lot of the videos folks are seeing of him appear to be AI, how nobody's seen him in public for a hot minute. This video came out relatively recently of him speaking at whatever the hell, I don't even know. But he had some things to say, and this should probably infuriate a few people. I don't know, have you seen this yet, John? He had some things to say about Jesus and Genghis Khan. So let's listen to what Satan's minion here has to say.
Proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now.
Jarring gong of danger. Son of a... All right, a couple of things here. First off, I don't know about anybody. This video looks a little AI-y to me. It looks a little fake. Now, that being said, because, you know, there have been all the talks about him. You know, maybe he's dead. Maybe everything's about him's AI. Maybe they're fucking cloning him. I don't know. But...
Jeez, that's interesting.
That is an interesting point. But for all of these boomers out there, all these people who are hardcore America, Judeo-Christian values, we need to protect. I don't think you need any more proof that your butt buddy BB, is a Satanist piece of shit. I don't think you need any more proof. past this, trying to compare Jesus and Genghis Khan. A, it's a belabored metaphor. B, he says Genghis like a people have been saying Genghis Khan for 100 years. You just say it so that people understand it. You stop saying Qatar or Genghis. Fuck you. Just say it like a normal person. Don't know why that pisses me off so much, but it does. I digress. The thing that shocks me is there's still going to be people who go to church on Sunday morning and like to talk about how our brothers and sisters in Israel need our help. We need to stand with the blue star flag and make sure that the Jays are protected. It is our duty as Americans, and our duty is, if this doesn't tell you that this guy is spitting on the, spitting on the everything Christianity I don't know what else would. What else does? I don't know how you would even be capable of seeing any level of rational reason at this point if you can't see that based on the way he expresses himself. There's just not anything else to say if that doesn't wake you the fuck up to just the surface level of what's going on. We're not talking about deep level stuff, okay? We're not talking about anything complicated. We're not talking about clones. We're not talking about egregores. We're not talking about AI, Sophia, disclosure. We're not talking about the Illuminati. We're just talking about a giant walking bag of acting like a giant walking bag of. It's not very complicated, yet there's still people who can't even see that, and it shocks me and blows my mind. And I don't want to spend a ton more time on this. John, any brief thoughts? I don't want to spend too much more time on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that you mentioned when you started the show. It's like crap like this just serves to really like entrench people into their camp, and like really like create that divide because, obviously he's saying some very clearly insightful things about Jesus and Christianity that's going to get the, the anti-J crowd just even, furthermore entrenched, which is then going to get these, boomers to look at the anti-J crowd and cry anti-Semitism. Yeah. It's just creating that divide and getting it really, really entrenched. And eventually this has got to lead to somewhere, you would think. Like eventually, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. It's like this hammer of the divide that they've created has to drop at some point. I don't know what that really is going to look like yet, but it's like that's really where I kind of want to focus on. Is like what are they gonna drop? What are they gonna use this for? Because right now it's just all of this crap has been used to create these two camps, and they've got to like manipulate it somehow,
Yeah, I mean, who the hell knows? For anybody who has an answer, fuck DM us.
Yeah,
because I got nothing.
Yeah,
it's a good question, but I don't know.
And it's clearly getting worse, like by the day at this point. Like it's like the stories are getting so much more like inflamed and insightful one way or the other to make these camps worse.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very Hegelian dialectic-y. Like we're going to generate a problem in an effort to, react and solve it. But the question is, like, what's that going to look like? Yeah. You have to imagine it's going to look kind of militaristic based on what's coming down the pipe from a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows? Anybody who tells you they know is full of shit or selling something.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on that. In case you guys weren't sure if I had opinions, that's my opinion on that. So, we started the show with a read. We're going to end with a read. But this is a good read. Guys, I am passionate about good. Very passionate about good. We have a lot of them here in the South, okay? We can't talk, we can't do math, and a lot of us can't read. But sometimes full-on reading leads to good things. And this is a heartwarming example of what happens when you get a couple of good readers together and they're being pig-headed in just the right way. Let's listen.
Feed a nation. 26 million. If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years, paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, He even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land. The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land and she plans to die here, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here.
So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them, is what I say. It's a scam.
For Delcia, scam or not, she says she's connected to her home like Scarlett O'Hara was in Gone with the Wind.
As long as she was attached to that land, her spirit never
Look at her out there with her staff.
And that's the exact same thing for me right here. As long as I'm on this land, as long as it's feeding me, as long as it's taking care of me, there's nothing that can destroy me if I've got this land.
God bless these inbred, intellectually challenged women. I mean, they clearly can't talk and have boils on their faces, but God bless them. Like they are turning their backs on a shitload of money and telling whoever's running these giant AI companies trying to buy up all the land to suck on their hairy inbred. And God bless them for it. Like, I live in a place where Californians and companies are buying up literally all the land everywhere and turning it into either just like corporate businesses or just horrible, like cramped housing. These women are actually doing something useful, and they're God bless these people. You don't see this anymore. You don't see a lady with a boil on her face and a staff in a field full of cows telling a man in a suit to f off. That is what America was built on, and God bless this woman for that, and her just Alzheimer-ridden mother. They seem like delightful people, and I really hope the chance we get to visit them one day and see all the inbred cousins, because I would love to see what they look like. Honestly, I'm very curious. But this is awesome. This is legitimately inspirational. Legitimately inspirational. And I'm a lady with some land and a giant staff for, whoever knows what, might be my type. You never know. We all have dreams. We all have goals. We all have desires. And folks, speaking of desires, if you desire more of the show, feel free to go over to the Patreon and sign up for whatever tier you feel you best fit into, or whatever tier fits best in you, okay? Get in where you fit in. From our $3 theorist tier all the way up to our bedtime tier, where we will literally think about you at bedtime. I will send you a goodnight text if you want. And I'd like to remind the people, I do sleep in the nude. So I'll send you a goodnight text. No photos, more than likely. But I'll send you a goodnight text. Okay? So go sign up for the Patreon if you want more of the show, if you want to support the show, if you like the show. Okay? Get in where you fit in. We got a bunch of fun bonus content coming. We go live, guys, if you like the show. And one more, we go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, every Tuesday for Touch Me Tuesdays. We haven't missed a week in a hot minute. So join us every week on Tuesday, 7 p.m. We'll be here, and I'm only a little bit queer sometimes, so it's fine. We will be going live with Stacks tomorrow on the show, I believe. Yes, that was at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. John, yeah. 7 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. So check us out tomorrow on his show or check him out. Go follow his channel. It's good shit. And go follow us on all the socials. Okay? Follow us on all the socials. Follow us on the Twitter. We're at the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter. We're at the Veritas Road everywhere else. We are trying to put out more on the audio platforms. I'm working on that slowly but surely. Literally all of my nights have been taken up by the past week and a half. So I'm hoping to get a jump on that this weekend and get some more content out here very soon. Our Touch Me Tuesdays are going to be going to audio platforms, likely starting with this one. So for those people who missed it, go download it on the Spotify when we get it up, which will hopefully be sometime soon. And I don't know that we'll be going live this weekend. We'll have to see. We may go live impromptu, but we'll certainly be airing an old episode or two. So if you missed some of our older shows, I know we had I don't remember which ones we're airing, so we'll tease those later. But tune in this weekend. We'll be going live with some content this weekend that'll be pre-recorded. So did I miss anything, John? I feel like that was everything.
No, I think you're covered.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Tonight's been fun. Hit the follow button. Hit the like button. We will hit Jacob Neff Hunter. I promise. John keeps saying he's allegedly working on that. And
I've just literally, I need to take like 2 hours to like watch just a little bit of his content.
It's fine. Just message him. We're going to message him, Neff Hunter. I promise.
I will do that.
So, yes, we are. We're working on it. And, yeah, thanks for listening. We do have some other coming up. God, all right. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. Thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye.